one. And he's powered over the man and scored! Oh, what a claim! And what a try!
Well, good morning. You're very welcome to Medway Park in Gillingham for this Betfred Wheelchair Super League Magic Round. With you all the way through the afternoon. 3 games from the Betfred Wheelchair Super League live and exclusive here on the Sportsman. Kicking off with Wigan Warriors against the Warrington Wolves, 4th place 6th in the Betfred Wheelchair Super League table. Should be an absolute cracking day of action here. We've got Leeds and Hull FC in action after this one. And then the headline act, the home team, London Roosters, taking on the Halifax Panthers. But first things first, it's Wigan and it's Warrington here at Medway Park. Fantastic venue for this event. Wheelchair Super League has just produced game after game, living up to that Magic Round hype all season after the wonderful Rugby League World Cup that we all fell in love with at the end of last year. So we should be in for an absolute treat today. Wigan come into this game 4th in the table with 3 wins and 4 defeats under their belt. Warrington looking for their first win of the season. They've been getting closer and closer. And here come the Warrington Wolves. Early start for them this morning for this 10:30 kickoff. But an opportunity for them to get some points on the board, and they are followed by the Wigan Warriors. Locked into that battle for those all-important playoff places. We're at that time of year. We're getting closer and closer to playoffs and grand finals. Every game crucially important as we reach those big dates come the end of the season. And of course, we've got the Betfred Wheelchair Challenge Cup final on the menu soon as well. The referee, Sean Blenkinsop, with the coin toss. Looks like Warrington have won it. And alongside me now, an absolute pleasure to be able to introduce the England Wheelchair General Manager, Martin Coyd. Martin, 3 fantastic Betfred Wheelchair Super League games on the menu today. Starting off with this one, of course, it should be a great day of action.
Yeah, this is our 4th Magic Round, and we took it to Newcastle, Manchester, Birmingham, and now the southeast of England. So we're truly taking the game right around the country. We want to, showcase our game. A lot of people saw it on the TV in the World Cup, and now we're expanding well. Just some really, really exciting things. You mentioned the Betfred Challenge Cup. We've got a trophy, and we've also got a women's event for the first ever time. We'll remain inclusive, males and females playing alongside each other, but it's a new development, and we're just in a great place, and this is the start of a very exciting day.
Well, it's going to be Warrington to get the action underway then. Paul Prince with a short bouncing kickoff, but it's mopped up early on by Det Roberts, one of the stars of the World Cup, of course. So Wigan with the first taste of the football, and immediately an offload gets him away on that left-hand side. 3! Smart Williams going for the line, he's cut just short. But Warrington immediately forced to defend their own goal line, and they come over to this right-hand side. There's gaps if they can use them. They're through that gap, and an early try for Det Roberts. And Martin, that was Wheelchair Rugby League at its very best straight away from Wigan.
Yeah, great start, and it was initiated by Jack Heggie, who broke down the left and was able to get his arm free and pass the ball to Williams, who did the right thing. He took his tackle, played it quick, and Wigan were just on the front foot, going forward and unstoppable.
So the perfect start for Wigan, and some familiar names in this Wigan side, some names that we'll have seen in that victorious Wheelchair World Cup team for England.
Yeah, in fact, the whole of the Wigan team is international. Matt Woloff is the USA, Heggie, Rigby and Roberts, England, and Mark Williams is a Welsh international, so stacked with talent.
So that is the challenge that Warrington are up against this afternoon. Det Roberts adds the 2 points. So the perfect start for Wigan. They get first taste of the football and go straight down to score. And Warrington straight away finding themselves on the back foot.
It's tough for Warrington. They've you know, this is their second year in the Super League, and it takes time. And there's no shortcuts. And you may have seen in the press in the last few days that St Helens have announced that they're coming into Wheelchair Rugby League, well, restarting. So it's great.
Yeah, wonderful to see Saints getting involved. It's a short kick-off again. It nearly came off for Warrington on this occasion. It was Karen Holt who couldn't quite bring the ball in. So Wigan on the attack again. Speed of that play, the ball so impressive in these early phases from Wigan. They come out to the left-hand side. Det Roberts just takes a tackle on this occasion. He gives it to Jake Heggie using all of that speed. We saw it earlier on, twisting and turning again. He's got his side in a good position. Space out on this left if they can use the ball. They keep it through the middle and the tackle's just made. Det Roberts will play the ball just short of that Warrington try line. So they come out to the right. But it's a loose pass. It's put down by Adam Rigby.
And over.
And Warrington do enough to get the ball back on this occasion. But straight away we can see what we're going to try to do. They're moving the ball left and right. They're using the width of the pitch.
Encouraging there for Warrington. They've scrambled hard and they've defended a set, and now they've got, you know, it's a yardage set. They're coming out, but with Karen Holt, who was Championship Player of the Year last year for the Rochdale club, so you know he's moving up. And oh,
but the ball lost on this occasion. Paul Prince coming up with the error.
When you went to pick it up, red ball.
So Wigan will get another set
on the red
in good ball position right on that Warrington line. Can they add to this early lead? They come to short ball to the right hand side. To Matt Woloff, as you mentioned, that USA international. And now an opportunity in the middle, but the defence is good again from Warrington. Those tags removed. We can come out to the right. It's a long ball out to the right. And it's Mark Williams in the corner. And they were made to work hard for that one. But Wigan are in again, Martin.
Yeah, and until the last tackle, Warrington were accurate. And by accurate, I mean it's hard to take a tag when you're in a chair and the player is moving and they're invariably moving their upper body around. And that accuracy to be able to grab a 300mm piece of vinyl is tough. And Warrington were accurate in that set. And, you know, although they're 2 tries down, they'll be encouraged by the start they've made. They just need to get the football and complete a set and start playing down the other end of the field for a bit. But they'll settle in.
Det Roberts adds the extras again. On target with both of those conversion attempts then, so we can go into a 12 points to 0 lead. And that, you mentioned that Warrington needs to get the ball in their hands. They've not had, I think they've maybe had 1 or 2 tackles with the football so far in this game. Yeah,
and it's that discipline thing. You've just got to retain possession and play boring stuff. Just do 5 drives, just to get that, just to get the feel of it and what you're doing.
Well, they've opted for the short kick-off twice so far in this game. Be interesting to see if Paul Prince goes for that option again. It was almost successful last time, but it's a risk, of course, giving away the field position. And they do go with it again, straight into the hands of Det Roberts. And Wigan again have good starting field position. It's just maybe that short kick-off tactic not quite working for them, Martin.
No, and Roberts is skilled, and as well as his prolific scoring.
And it's a brilliant offload from Woloff. And it's another try for Wigan. They have started this game on fire. Mark Williams with his second of the game, but it was all about the offload from Matt Woloff.
But much like the running game, you've got to control it. You've got to slow the ball down, and maybe not yank the tag off straight away. Get your chair in front. We call it chair defence. Get the chair in front, slow the play down, and then pull the tag off when the defence has got time to get set. But they're not able to do that yet.
No, well, we just saw Woloff there splitting the defence, and just with the presence of mind to get that offload away. And a relatively routine finish in the end for Mark Williams, and Det Roberts continues his 100% record from kicking tee.
Yeah, he was the top point scorer in the competition last year and this year, and he doesn't miss much.
Well, we talk about what this game might mean come the end of the season. I'm sure Wigan will have one eye on the scoreboard because points difference is looking like it could be all important in that race for the playoffs, Martin.
Yeah, home advantage is important, and it's been great this year. London have been challenging the top end, and Hull have made some great strides and beaten London Roosters, and also did particularly well in the Challenge Trophy.
Well, again, they opt for the short kick-off. It hasn't come off again, and Wigan immediately are running at a broken defence here. I thought they were through just slightly before.
Tackle 3.
Warrington have done well to scramble back. But it's been all the Wigan Warriors so far. They've got some space again on this left-hand side. Adam Rugby stopped. So loose pass, but Wallace does really well to take it in, and then he's unseated. So we'll just take a second. Going to get back up right. And Warrington have scrambled really well there, but they just need to get some element of control and get into this arm wrestle a bit more, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do. They've got to be patient. They're doing the right thing. They're not panicking too much.
Well, it's a really nice offload back on the inside, but I think the ball has come loose.
It has?
Yep.
Yeah, Warrington get a set now. It's really important to get to the end of it. I don't know what he's called here, the referee. Yeah, it is Warrington ball. You'll see Wigan put pressure on them. They're all in a line,
That's it, thank you.
Ready to go, and they're going to push hard from 4 metres and try and contain them in this 8-metre zone.
Well, like a coiled spring, that Wigan defensive line then. Line speed as important in this form of the game as any other. And an interesting tactic from Warrington straight away, going for the kick on second tackle. Ted Roberts mops it up. I was surprised to see that, considering the lack of possession that Warrington have had. Going for a kick just on tackle 2 there might not have been the wisest option.
Yeah, they might reflect. And what's happening is Wigan are getting quick play the balls, and Warrington have got their back to the play. With Wigan running at them, so they need to slow things down and get themselves set quickly. But they've got a reprieve here.
Mark Williams just for a second thought he might have been in for his hat-trick then. Ball came loose. So Warrington back in possession. What will we see them try? They've obviously got a few tricks up their sleeve. They've tried the short kick-off. They've tried kicking early in the set.
3.
What can they produce on this occasion? Holt plays the ball on the inside. That's Martin Prince. And immediately this is a better set for Warrington as Nash Jennings takes it up to the line. This is more what they've been needing to do, isn't it, Martin? Just get into the arm wrestle and get through the sets.
Absolutely. And that's a great
kick through. And it's a really clever kick. Bounce. Just slightly too much for Luke Winstanley Harding to get on the end of.
On the red cross.
But this is the first time, really, in the first 10 minutes of this game, that we've seen Wigan in their own third. Absolutely.
And it was the right thing to do. They've got through a set, they've completed it well, and now they've got a chance to put some pressure on Wigan and try and force the error.
So we can get us back up and running. Such a skill, isn't it, if you can kind of manipulate your waist and shoulders in that way to keep those tags out of reach.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's, you know, we try.
Oh, he's straight through. Jack Heggie, it opened up like the Red Sea in front of him, and he doesn't need much of an invitation with that pace. A length for the field effort.
Yeah, Jack Heggie's been recalled to the national performance squad this year. He was a World Cup finalist in 2013 and played in this very facility in 2013 and has had some time out. He works in professional sports, so a lot of studying was involved, but he's come back and has got up to speed quickly at the international level. We're going to have a bit of a wobble this year. You know, they were grand finalists a couple of years ago and one of the dominant teams, but they've been undone a couple of times this year. But it's clear to me from what I've seen so far that they're coming back together and they're looking quite a tight unit.
Well, the kick is successful again. So Wigan absolutely dominant in the opening 10 minutes of this game. Don't forget, we've got 2 more after this one, live and exclusive here on the Sportsman for you. Wigan just making a few changes, rolling the subs. I think Wes Thomason has come on for the Warriors. So again, Paul Prince, who's opted for that short kick-off a few times already. Not on this occasion, we'll just get the ball downfield.
This is one of the differences with wheelchair rugby league. If that was the running game, that would now be Warrington ball bouncing into touch. But with us on such a smaller pitch, it becomes a Wigan ball, and they've got time to. But Warrington are starting this set in a much better position than any time they've done so far.
It's so important, isn't it, field position on obviously this shortened playing surface that we have in the wheelchair game. Those kind of meters become so much more crucial and important if you can win that territory battle.
Yeah, they do. They do. And once you can get into the opposition zone, you can score tries quickly.
Well, Wes Thompson injected himself straight into this game. Big carry.
Yeah, it was a strong carry and a big hit, and he's a limited movement player. When he plays this, you'll see him touch the ball on his wheel as opposed to the ground. But it means he can play on literally the same level as his mates.
Well, that one was off the back fence. He's back up right now, and it's Wigan who go for the early kick option on this occasion. Karen Holt deals with it well in the end, but the Wigan chase kick pressure was very, very good. And it will force Warrington to kick the ball from out underneath their own sticks. And it's just that little bit of kind of added pressure that Wigan seem to be able to put on. That little bit of just extra speed on the kick chase.
And also Roberts able to stop the ball in front of the post is just fantastic and force Warrington into this position. Well, that's a good kick if it stays in. That stays in play and Wigan got to bring it out. That's in play.
Oh, it's just the bounce of a rugby league ball. One more roll than it needed. Karen Holt putting his fist through that ball. Almost perfect. But as it happens, Wigan will get the ball on their own 8-metre line.
0!
And we'll see what they can do from deep inside their own half. They've been pretty successful so far. And that's a good bit of meterage made there by Det Roberts, and that offload comes over the top again. Adam Rigby trying to get away on that left-hand side. The Warrington defence scrambles well. He can come out to the right. Roberts with the show and go, gets his arms free, and the offload away. But it's been called back. Think for a forward pass.
No, I think they've called tackle. I think they've said the tag was off, yeah.
Tackle 3.
So Wigan not quite 4 more points, but in very good field position. That ball's come loose. I think it was adjudged to have come down off a Warrington hand. So a repeat set for Wigan in a good position.
This is the time now where all 5 Warrington defenders have got to work together, get off the line and put pressure on the ball carrier.
So it's Rigby who plays the ball to Heggie, who takes the ball in underneath the sticks. He comes then back out to the right-hand side to Roberts. Roberts just rides a tackle and gets the ball down, and the try is awarded. I mean, we talk about winning the contact and winning the wrestle in the running game, but this is very much the wheelchair equivalent of that. Just rides a challenge, manages to get himself away, and an easy try in the end for Det Roberts.
So there's an easy fix here for Warrington, and they can work on this over the next few weeks of the season. The Wigan players are being tackled and then playing the ball almost immediately, whereas if you watch Warrington, the Wigan players are able to slow them down and get the defence set. And you said Roberts is just rolling down the field, and that's what he's doing. He's sitting in the middle. He's got people pushing either side of him, and he's got his options, and Warrington are not able to stem this, so they need to work really hard and dig deep.
Yeah, it's been a fairly brutal start to this game for Warrington. Wigan, they've made the long trip down this morning, but they're not showing any signs of tiredness or rustiness. We've started this game very, very quickly. 15 minutes or so gone, already out to a 30-0 lead. You mentioned, Martin, the amount of internationals that are in this Wigan team, but it must be really encouraging from a competition point of view, but also an England point of view, as we watch that kick-off just roll on too far again. How many of that England squad are spread across the competition? You're not picking, the majority of your players from one particular team. There's a real kind of even spread across the Wheelchair Super League of these World Cup stars.
Absolutely, and in the national performance squad at the start of the season, we selected players from each of the 6 Super League clubs. You know, so Hull and Warrington had representatives invited to participate, and they learn from each other, and they also take the best things back to their clubs.
Well, Roberts puts the kick over the top. Rugby with the chase, pulls it in brilliantly. Wigan are in again. A really clever kick. You mentioned earlier that ability of Det Roberts to get the ball to just stop. That one seemed to just freeze in mid-air. Perfect for Adam Rigby. He knew exactly where that ball was going to be. A perfectly executed kick attack, that, Martin.
Absolutely. And it's nice to see Adam Rigby score. He is a fierce defender and tackles as hard as anybody in the game. But he's also got this in his play as well. You can see him pushing really, really hard.
You didn't get anything.
Clean catch and just gets the ball down. And you know, does his job. But I'll promise you, next time Warrington get the ball, he'll be first into the tackle, and he does. He carries some real weight and ferocity in his tackles.
Well, Det Roberts is having an absolutely brilliant game in open play, but from the kicking tee as well, sticking the knife in even further for Warrington. And we see that kick again, just over the top. And it just sits up, bounces perfectly. So much control over that kick, and that must be such a difficult skill to do with your hand, essentially.
Yeah, it is, and you know, it's just practice. You know, all the guys come early to training and stay late afterwards and just kick balls, and they're learning and innovating all the time.
Well, the kick-off over to that left-hand side again, but Det Roberts does really well to just bring that in one-handed, immediately looking to set Wigan on the attack again. Rigby comes over, gives it to Heggie on the left. Just manages to keep himself in the field of play, but look at the speed of that play the ball. Det Roberts again up the middle, just tagged on this occasion before he could get that offload away. Wigan making good meters, it seems, on every carry. Mark Williams, who had a lightning start to this game, has been a little bit quieter in the last 5 minutes or so, but starting to inject himself a bit more now. Thomason just getting those tags back on before playing the ball over to the right. Roberts puts the kick in, and again a really difficult bounce in the end. Kieran Holt does well.
Out.
And he's unseated there. Just waiting to see if he's got himself back into the field of play or not.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he has. He's done well.
He's done very well there, isn't he, to get himself back in and avoid another goal line dropout, another repeat set. He's straight back in action on the second carry. Warrington at this stage, they just need to calm things down here, don't they? Enjoy the fact that they've got the ball.
Yep.
Get through their sets and see what they can do with the kick. Well, they've got to kick early again. It's come back to Holt.
That's a charge down. It should have gone back to one, because Wigan certainly played at it.
And Nash Jennings tagging back up and playing out to Prince. Prince brings it in. Can't quite get his arm free. The tackle's made.
Yeah, they did get a reset.
Oh, but it's a loose carry. I think they're going to get away with that just about. Luke Winstanley Harding there to mop up.
Tackle 4.
But the intensity of this Wigan defence, the line speed, just not letting Warrington get any free yards. Kieran Holt again, just managing to get himself free, keep those tags away from the Wigan defence for the time being. He is now stopped, and the kick comes in from Prince, and it's a good kick. Splits the Wigan defenders. I think it's just going to roll on slightly too far again. No. Wigan taking the safe option. And Warrington forcing a goal line dropout. And that's their best set of the game, Martin.
Absolutely. And Heggie did the right thing by putting it away. You know, and it was just beautifully placed right in the corner. And he chose not to take a chance. But Roberts are likely to put this long with a hard Wigan chase from it.
Well, it is a long kick. He's there for Holt to mop up, and he does well. The Wigan defence up on him quickly. He tags back up. And that's a quicker play of the ball than perhaps we've seen from Warrington. They're just starting to get themselves back into this game a little bit, get into the swing of things, into the arm wrestle. Offload back on the inside from Prince, and Holt does really well to bring that back in. The pass is behind Jennings, but Prince is there to mop up. So Warrington just slow at this play the ball. So Nash Jennings just takes it up the middle, settles it. Prince goes over the top with the kick. And it's bounced horribly back inside, but just slightly too much on it. And Wigan will get the ball back. It's an interesting kind of nuance of the wheelchair game, isn't it, Martin? It's obviously played on these hard courts. It's a smaller ball with some of the air taken out of it. So a rugby league ball doesn't bounce very predictably anyway. In this environment, it's even harder to tell where it's going to go.
Yeah, and the lads are skilled, but they've done well there, Warrington. They've had back-to-back sets, and they've got to a kick on both times. And you know, they got the ball back once, and now they're making Wigan go the whole length of the field if they want to do that. So encouraging signs from Warrington. They're working hard.
Well, Prince did well to get out to Rigby and shut him down. I think their wheels had just become tangled up there, so we're going to bring this back. So there's a Wigan ball just inside their own half.
Tackle 4. 5.
Now they settle things down. Mark Williams puts the kick over the top. Corin Holt just lets it roll over the dead ball line. And Warrington will start with possession 8 metres away from their own sticks.
And this is their best spell. They've stopped the flow of tries coming, and they're completing their sets. And I think the players have worked this out themselves. You know that it's a lot more fun to carry the ball sometimes. Martin Prince working hard and evading there. They still can't get him, and he's just taking a bit of petrol out of the Wigan defence.
So Nathan Roberts on the field now for Wigan, as is Lenny Izzard. So Wigan rolling the changes, using this 36-point advantage just to let a few players get a bit of a rest. What's given here? It's going to be a penalty to Warrington. So this will help. A bit of a piggyback up the field. A few more tackles in their pocket. Can they engineer a scoring opportunity here? Holt puts the kick into touch.
Good to see Lenny Izzard on the field. He's an ex-Warrington player, is Izzard, and was also in the England squad. And one of the great things about wheelchair rugby league is that Lenny used to play with his dad Alan and his mum Julie in the same team. And there's not many sports you can do that.
So many wonderful stories that come out of this version of the sport. It allows as many people as possible to play it. Corin Holt stopped just short of the 8-metre line. Oh, and a little bit of confusion there amongst the Warrington ranks about whose ball that was, I think. It was Nash Jennings in the end that took it into contact. Holt brings it over. He looked for an offload back on the inside. Thought better of it. And he'll play the ball 8 metres out. Jennings again with the carry.
5 and last.
Stopped in the end, and this is the last. So they'll come out to Holt. He puts a kind of hooping kick up in the air.
1.
Again, that's okay. They've turned the ball over on Wigan's line. They've completed another set, and this is progress. And if they can remain patient, just keep working at it, they'll get a break.
So Williams drops the ball off with Nathan Roberts. Roberts failing to offload and keeping hold of it. And Wigan happy to just go up the middle for the time being.
4.
And just in the last 5 or 10 minutes or so, we've seen Warrington just been able to slow down that play the ball a little bit, slow down Wigan's tackles, and it is making a difference because they're able to get the defence set. Yeah,
and they've just forced an error from Izzard, and you know, Warrington are going to turn it over 16 metres away from the Wigan line, and another set, and patient, build pressure, and they'll be okay.
1.
So Prince bringing the ball in. He drops it off to Holt. Holt, oh, he was almost through then. Thought he just managed to twist his way through a gap, but he was stopped, unseated. So he gets himself back upright, gets those tags back on. And Warrington go again with potentially their best scoring opportunity of the game.
3.
Prince is tackled about 6 metres short. He brings it over to the left to Winstanley Harding. Harding takes the tackle in and then gives it to Holt. Holt brings it over to the left-hand side. And this is the last. So Wigan's defence standing firm so far. One more tackle to deal with. Too much juice on the kick from Paul Prince.
8 metre.
But this is a 2 or 3 sets in a row now that Wigan are starting right on their own goal line.
Yep.
So it'll be Williams
Red line.
bringing the ball up to the 8-metre line. It's the red markings that you're looking for on this pitch. They are the wheelchair rugby league markings. I believe, Martin, the only bespoke wheelchair rugby league pitch in the country. In the world, I think. I don't know of any others. You know, all these sports facilities are shared, but very rarely are the lines permanently down. And
Yellow line!
Medway Park is the home of England Wheelchair Rugby League, and
I'm shouting to get back on the yellow line. There's two yellow lines. Back with me.
Penalty, Roberts just slightly too keen. Although he played the ball from there, the referee brings him back.
Incorrect play the ball.
And in fact, it's going to be a penalty, I think, for an incorrect play the ball. So another opportunity. That kick nearly up with us here on the commentary gantry from Holt. And the last 5-10 minutes, Martin, you'd have to say that Warrington have had the better of this game.
Absolutely. The momentum has turned, and rugby league's intrinsically a fair sport in that everybody gets a go and Warrington are taking their chances.
So Prince brings it up to the line, almost getting that arm away, but we can come in with their defence as they have been all afternoon. Brad Gleave feigns right, but comes out to the left, and it's a forward pass. So a wasted opportunity for Warrington, and Wigan will be happy just to see the football for a little bit here.
Yeah, they will. Yep. They will.
Oh, but an error straight away. Yeah, Warrington a reprieve really after an error of their own.
Ball, blue line.
And still, Wigan find themselves under some pressure.
Yeah, it was a poor pass actually. He had a little chance of getting it down below his knees.
Yeah.
So can Warrington get themselves on the board before half-time? 12 or so minutes remaining in this first period. Wigan started like a house on fire. Out the blocks rapidly, getting early points on the board. But in the last 5-10 minutes or so, there has been a swing. Warrington are getting themselves back in, but that's pulled back for another forward pass. We just entered a scrappy kind of 2 or 3 minutes in this game. Yeah,
there's a bit of fatigue coming. We're approaching the half-hour mark, and pushing your chair backwards and forwards takes it out of you, and the skill levels can fade a little if you're not careful.
He's done really well there to get himself away, and then with the pass out to the right-hand side, a really quick play the ball. An opportunity for Izzard, maybe. Can he get himself free? I think he might be in here, and he scores in the corner, just managing to get that arm away from the defender for long enough to get the ball down. And after absorbing a period of Warrington pressure, Wigan have more points to their total. Yeah,
it's often the way. Just a broken field situation. Izzard sees it, just pushes. He's got that chair skill and quick speed to get away, and some good evasion at the end as well.
Well, that came, Martin, from one of the few quick plays that Wigan have been able to get in the last 5 or 10 minutes, and it just shows you the difference that it makes.
Yeah, and off the back of a Warrington error. And a forward pass underneath our commentary position here, so
that's going to be Izzard looking to convert his own try. Does do. So Wigan extend their lead further with half an hour played here at Medway Park. Betfred Wheelchair Super League Magic Round, the 4th one of the season. We've got plenty more on the way here on the Sportsman this afternoon.
Nice to see the crowd building up as well. I can see some Hull FC jerseys in there. And also I'm delighted to see Brentwood Eels, a local rugby league club who've opened up a wheelchair section. We're going to help them through the summer, get used to it, and they'll be coming into the championship competition next year. And we're building a bridge between the teams in the southeast and those in the north, with Bedford as well. So we are expanding.
Well, Warrington with the kick-off, it goes all the way through. It's going to stop as well in the Wigan in goal. And in the end, Rugby just takes a safe option and puts the ball out, and that's pretty much the best result possible for Warrington.
Yeah, it caught Wolof, who was unable to deal with it, and
so Holt bringing the kick in. He drops it off to Brad Gleave. Gleave still not tackled here. Eventually Rugby does get that tackle away, but it slowed the play down. Holt does really well. Took that almost off the floor.
3.
Warrington on the attack up this right-hand side.
Good push there from Martin Prince. He had options either side, which also puts a bit of doubt in the defence's mind and will open up gaps for you.
Well, they're stacked out to the left on this occasion. The kick comes in over the top. And it just bounces. 1 or 2 rotations too many. So Wigan will get the ball back. Yeah, you talk about the growth of the game, Martin. You mentioned that there was a World Cup final here in 2013. To get to where it was almost 9 years later with that World Cup final in November, that just shows the direction that the sport's going in that unbelievable night at Manchester Central. Yeah,
I think that will last a long time in people's memories, and it's a great thing. We had about 6 clubs playing in 2013, and we're now plus 30 and continuing to grow, and it's just getting exciting as people, you know, see and then recognise how vibrant this sport is. And just going back to Warrington are not far away here. They're doing the right things. They're completing their sets. Their kicks are nearly there. And, you know, they've just got to believe, and it will come.
Well, Rugby play that ball out to the left-hand side to Det Roberts. Roberts going up the middle. He's met by Holt and Winstanley Harding, who do a good job on him. But Rugby, again, looking to engineer some space and some running options. But, again, he's shut down. So Warrington defending well. Roberts brings it out to the right-hand side. It could be in again here. Oh, brilliant tackle.
Check the tags.
Holt just sticking that arm out, grabbing the tag.
No tag.
But I think we're going to come back here for Warrington ball. I don't think we're going to tagged up properly again there. Match officials just conferring on the issue.
It wasn't tackled, the tag's fallen off. Okay. When he's grounded it, obviously still no tag. Yep. No contact with the second player.
Yeah, like I say, Leeds were in the position Warrington were not long ago. Leeds used to lose every game, and they never ever dropped their heads, and they continued to work, and are now top of the league. You know, Challenge Cup holders. You know, a really exciting Betfred Challenge Cup final against Catalan Dragons, which is you know, again, a unique innovation within our sport, where we invite the French teams in, and
it looks at the end of that conversation between the match officials that the try has been awarded.
Yep.
There was some talk that the tag hadn't been properly reapplied, but the officials seem to be happy with it. And the kick goes over from dead in front. And Wigan have just weathered a little bit of a storm. Seem to get themselves back amongst the points and back on top in this game as we approach half-time.
Yeah, we're going to rotate in their team well as well. You know, and the little bit of disruption that comes from that, they've got it back on, and the Roberts brothers are out there, I think, at this moment in time with Rigby, Williams and Wolf, which is a powerful 5 on the field.
So Holt will get us back underway here at Medway Park. Again, that short kick-off that they've opted for a lot. Dealt with well, though. And Wigan straight away on the attack. Roberts, so dangerous. Always looks as if something's going to happen. And it's Nathan Roberts on this occasion who plays it back onto the inside. Here's Declan. Could have some space over on this right. In the end, the Warrington defence does well to scramble back. He's still not been tagged. That looked like it came off a Warrington hand. And we are back to 0.
1.
So Nathan Roberts will play the ball about 10 metres out to Declan Roberts, who finds Williams in space over on that left-hand side, but Holt does really well. He's made a few really impressive, crucial defensive interventions in this game. Holt, Wigan on the roll forward again. Rigby underneath the sticks, goes to the right to Roberts, a show and go. And he's into the right of the posts. And Wigan enjoying themselves. 5 minutes left or so in this first half.
Yeah, they're throwing the football around. It's a sort of Wigan version of Bazball, I think, from of we're just going to go for it, and it means it's really entertaining, and their skill levels are such that they can do this. You know, so they all stayed patient. They're all in the right place at the right time. All players are moving and ready to receive the ball. And Declan Roberts worked particularly hard down here. He wasn't going to just surrender into a tackle. He just carried on working, and when the opportunity came, he distributed the ball, and Wigan end up scoring from, you know, with the ball going from both sides of the field to the other.
So Dick Roberts adds 2 more, pushes Wigan out to a 54 points to 0 lead. Just see over on that far side, Leeds Rhinos have arrived. They're in action. Game 2 against Hull FC. Mark Wilson, the busiest man in rugby league, will be bringing you that one, fresh from Wigan yesterday. And then, of course, rounding off, we've got the local side, the London Roosters, taking on Halifax.
Leeds will be wanting to get back to winning ways. They lost their first game of the season a couple of weeks ago at home to London Roosters, which sort of shows us where we are with the competitiveness of it. So I expect them to be on fire today.
The Prince on kick-off duties on this occasion. Wigan deal with it. Roberts plays it to Rugby. Rugby just twisting back onto his right-hand side, and then finding Det Roberts, and there's some open field here. He can get through the gap. He does. Holt trying to get across him to get that tag. I think he's going to get all the way across. He does. And Wigan rampant here. And Det Roberts showing all of that international pedigree, Martin.
Yeah, and you could see he was raising his right arm with the ball. If he was standing still, the match official would have called held. But if you're moving, and that's an option to pass the ball, you can play on. So his knowledge of the laws was useful to Roberts there, and prevented Holt, who has had a super first half. Really has been involved in everything, and is improving rapidly as a player. And you know, I know he has aspirations to get to play international football, and he's going the right way about doing it. And again, with wheelchair rugby league, you can have a long career. We've got guys in the England squad, late 40s, 50. A man played in the World Cup final at 59 years of age, so there's no rush.
Well, I can see Tom Coyd, England head coach, over in that far corner. I'm sure he's making notes for his next squad. And this place, of course, has been a real kind of a key location in what England Rugby League have been able to do with the wheelchair game in the last few years. Yeah,
we've had magnificent support from the local council, who see it as a true partnership. And we've been able to get ourselves to be in a position where, you know, we competed for a world championship, but that was about an awful lot of preparation and time.
So Holt gets us back underway. Kind of mid-length kick on this occasion. Taking a little bit of the juice off it. In the end, it's a really good kick, because they've been able to pin Wigan, Matt Wolof, back behind their own line.
Everything about that kick was right. The pace of it, so it didn't go dead. The bounce of it, you know, the direction of it.
Well, it's a long drop out over the top. Bounces quite kindly in the end for Holt. Warrington starting from the halfway line.
And he needs a runner now, and he's got one. He's got one. Let's have another one, Warrington. Start pushing both sides. It's just coming on one side, so it's easy to defend for Wigan.
Well, that is the half-time whistle. Worth noting at this point that clock on your screen is just a guide. It's not attached to the referee's clock, so he's called things. Called us in for a break at the 40-minute mark with Wigan 60 points to 0 ahead. And we can't discount the fact that Wigan have been absolutely superb, Martin. They've played with the football. They've been very quick, very aggressive, direct at times. They've mixed it up as well. But the nil probably doesn't reflect how good Warrington have been as well.
No, there's really encouraging signs. It will seem odd that we've had 10 converted tries, you know, 100% kicking rate. And but Warrington have got a lot to be, I was going to say proud of, the wrong word. Warrington need to be encouraged. They're completing their sets. Their kicking game has been good. They just need to slow Wigan down and speed up their own play the balls, and they'll start to get parity.
Well, that's the first 40 minutes in the books here at Medway Park. Wigan in the ascendancy, 60 points nil up against Warrington Wolves. Stay with us. We'll have the second 40 on the way. And, of course, 2 more games from this Betfred Wheelchair Super League Magic Round.
And a Super League season comes to its conclusion here tonight. It is 4 in a row. Robinson! tonight. It is 4 in a row. Robinson is a moment for long. He's kicked it. A brilliant follow And a Super League season comes to its conclusion here tonight. It is 4 in a row. Robinson is a moment for long. He's kicked it. A brilliant follow And a Super League season comes to its conclusion here tonight. It is 4 in a row. Robinson is a moment for long. He's kicked it. A brilliant follow And a Super League season comes to its conclusion here tonight. It is 4 in a row. Robinson is a moment for long. He's kicked it. A brilliant follow
That's a big one.
He's powered over the man and scored! Oh, what a claim! And what a try!
Well, I can now. I'm number 1 now. He's had it.
Well, welcome back to Medway Park in Kent for this Betfred Wheelchair Super League Magic Round, live and exclusive on the Sportsman. Half-time in the first game of the day sees Wigan strongly in control against Warrington, a 60 points to 0 lead at the deficit. Some fantastic performances right across that Warriors team. Det Roberts has really stood out.
Giving up on this. Get it out.
Stacked with internationals, of course, Wigan. against the Warrington team. Just finding their way in the wheelchair game. Some good efforts from them as well. Karen Holt and Paul Prince doing some good things for the Warrington side in that first half. They might feel a little bit unjust that they've got a 0 next to their name. 40 minutes to put that right here in Medway against the Wigan side.
Ready? Gone for.
So we can get us underway. Go for the short kick-off themselves on this occasion. Obviously in fashion this morning. Warrington bring the ball in. The game stopped just while we get the kicking tee back off the playing surface. Paul Prince bringing that kick-off in from Jack Heggie. Did well actually in the end because he was under some pressure. And Warrington now get us back under the way. Form of Emma Williams. Williams inside to Holt. Now they come over to this left-hand side. Martin Coyd, England Rugby League General Manager, alongside me.
Yeah, I'm just really pleased with that play started by Emma Williams. It shifted left, went through 3 pairs of hands. Warrington retained possession and are making Wigan work.
So Prince causing difficulties for Wigan, but this is the last. Holt will put the ball up in the air over the top in the end. Gathered in really well by Matt Woloff. Good look at that speed of play the ball from Wigan.
Yeah, good read from Woloff. He knew it was coming and just sweep around the back and picked it up.
Oh, well, Jack Heggie could be all the way through here. I think he's going to score on that left-hand side. He does. And the field of play just seems to open up in front of him in his little invitation. Fantastic chair speed to get himself through the gap. And then they were never going to bring him back in. It's just a little hip shift.
Yeah, no.
Gets away from a couple of defenders who've got their chairs turned. And in the end, a relatively routine journey into the try line. Jack Heggie getting Wigan up and running in the second half.
Not me.
Brad Gleave just attempting to make the tackle, couldn't quite get there. Roberts puts the kick over. He's been absolutely flawless with the extra kicks in this game so far. And Martin, Wigan starting off very much in a similar fashion to how they did the first half.
Yeah, you called it right. It was a great spot by, or a great read by Woloff, who then, once he was tackled, played the ball really quick, and Warrington were just defeating, and Heggie just said, I'm gonna literally put my foot down and we're gonna go, and he couldn't stay with him.
And we talk about, in the running game, we people talking about players getting their hips turned. It's very much the same in this, isn't it? Once those chairs are turned,
yep. Very
difficult to get yourself back forward facing and back in the defensive line. Heggie again here, getting away. Could be on for another one.
Same play.
Brilliant turn of speed. And Heggie will go under the post this time. Well, what a start to the second half he's having. 2 length of the field efforts. So dangerous when he gets himself into broken play. And as we saw in the early stages of the first half, Warrington just need to get themselves in the arm wrestle a bit here.
And what he did was he just rolled it there, and Warrington weren't accurate with the tags and didn't take him off, and it's not held, and off he goes.
Well, 2 more points. Tagged on fairly routinely from Dick Roberts. A lightning fast start then to this second half for the Warriors. We mentioned the significance that points difference could have as we come towards the end of the season and the playoffs. I'll be very pleased with their morning's work so far. Warrington just need to settle things down a little bit. They had some good spells, some good phases in that first half, but it looks as if that break hasn't suited them too much. So we've had a change of referee as well, by the looks of things.
Yeah, Becky's moved from this side to become number 1, and Sean Blenkinsop appears to have gone off, and Kim Abel is now doing the number 2 referee on the near side. We don't know why, but we'll get a reason.
Well, Emma Williams did really well there. Matt Woloff was steaming through, but she got the tag. And Jack Heggie stopped just inside the Warrington half. They come over to this left edge. Wolof again looking to get the ball away. Martin Williams could in the corner. He is. Mark Williams, apologies. And Wigan have another one over on this left-hand side. They seem to be finding a lot of joy on this left edge. And that pushes the lead out to 76 points to 0. They've been pretty much pitch perfect, Wigan, since we restarted. Deck Roberts now looking to add the 2. And he does perfectly from this touchline. What an effective display of goal kicking from Deck Roberts.
Yep, yeah, and you know, he's been playing an awful long time. Started off as a child, really. Declan, he's still 23, 24 now, I think, and just comes a years of practice. It's Tiger Woods stuff. The match officials have changed because Sean Blenkinsop, who was #1 in the first half, has aggravated a hip injury, and he's tight, so he's now acting as the match commissioner. And we have 2 female referees officiating at the Betfred Magic Round.
Well, it's not just brutal for the players out there. Referees picking up injuries as well. And that kick just slightly too heavy from Warrington. And Wigan will get us back underway, 8 metres away from their own line.
No, I'd take it back. I've confused him. Go on.
I think we're just going to go and do that again.
So you could tap it.
Conversation between Heggie and the match officials, and now we are back underway. Williams brings it back inside to Wolof. Wolof tips it off to Roberts. Roberts stopped. Well, it wasn't stopped by Paul Prince. Is then stopped eventually by Emma Williams. And again, that speed of the play, the ball. Brilliant offload over the top from Heggie, and then again from Wolof. And I think it's been pulled back.
Great tackle, last-ditch tackle. Just as he thought he was away.
Well, the try line was open in front of him there, but his tag was taken. Brilliant defensive effort from Warrington. Wolof now brings it in, centre of the field. Roberts looking to get that pass over the top. Knocked down by a Warrington hand, Karen Holt. So Wigan will get another set of 6. Heggie will play the ball. Deck Roberts just slightly ahead of him there.
When you're ready.
And now we do get back underway. Roberts will just take this in. Met by Nash Jennings and Karen Holt. Oh, brilliant. Oh. The tackle was made. Fought for a second there. But Wes Thomason had got himself over. But Warrington's defence just again. You can just see on your screen Karen Holt making a last-ditch tackle. They survive for the time being, but Wigan looking ominous.
That's freakish play from Karen Holt, to be able to turn around through 180 degrees, you know, stop one player and then turn around and D-tag. He's done it again.
He's done it again. We mentioned him in the first half as being one of the really impressive positives of this Warrington team. He's having a fantastic couple of minutes in defence here for his team, digging them out of a few holes. They've still got a few more to deal with. And now we can come out to the left-hand side, and they will score on this occasion. Matt Wolof over on that left-hand side. Mention those defensive efforts from Karen Holt. In the end, just too much, and Wigan are over again.
Yeah, there was 3-on-1 that time, and Superman had no chance, but he's certainly keeping his team interested on this right edge.
Some more kicking practice for Deck Roberts. Sure he'll be very grateful that his teammates have put so many of these tries over right on the sideline. He's making light work of it so far. Up he steps. And again, just shapes one in over the sticks. Wigan keep that scoreboard ticking. 84 points to 0. And there's an adage that I've heard mentioned a few times over the years with Wheelchair Rugby League, Martin, that the equivalent of of 3 tries in the wheelchair game is essentially the equivalent of 1 in the running game because of obviously the smaller pitch and just the speed at which it's played.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You know, and a really good wheelchair game, and by that I mean competitive, is perhaps, you know, 24-32 or something like that. You know, in the same way that the great games of rugby league recently. So think about the running game semi-finals; they were sort of 2 tries each. Ours would be sort of 5 or 6 tries each.
That's a really tricky kick. It's still bobbling around. I think in the end it has gone dead. It's going to be a goal line dropout. But all sorts of confusion caused from the kickoff there. And Wigan will get us back underway for kicking the ball from underneath their own sticks. It's a fair old whack from Deck Roberts, and the bounce beats Kyron Holt. Oh, Heggie, that is unbelievable skill from Jack Heggie. The bounce deceived Kyron Holt from the dropout, and then a one-handed grab almost from nowhere. Jack Heggie goes over again, and they just can't keep him out of the game.
Looks pretty pleased with that one, and so he should be. Great kick from Roberts, and Heggie never took his eye off the ball and timed this absolutely beautiful as he comes into screen. And as well as catching the ball, has beaten all the defence.
Such a difficult skill to bring the ball in like that without an error at the speed that he's travelling. It makes it look so easy there. And after pegging Wigan back to their own goal line with that kickoff, Warrington finding themselves back underneath their own sticks almost instantly. We see it again. It's a fair old whack from Deck Roberts. Rugby league ball can do horrible things. Not much, too much that Kyron Holt could have done about that. And then Jack Heggie setting off from the back fence. A brilliant take. 4 more points to his name. Warrington get us back underway, and this one will go dead. So we can restart from the 8-metre line. If you were in the Warrington camp at this point, with half an hour or so left in this game, Martin, what would you be wanting to see? What would you be asking your players to give you in this last half hour?
I just want them to keep doing what they're doing. I'm looking at them now. They're there. There's 5 of them. They're ready. They're talking. They're communicating. They're getting off the line.
So Wigan with the football inside their own half. Williams brings it out to Wolof. Wolof brings it over towards his right edge, where he's stopped by a combination of Gleave and Holt. Heggie then to Roberts, who picks a really good line, and he's still going. He gets it away to Williams. Holt there again with the tag. Heggie with an offload back on that right-hand side. Roberts just a drop of the shoulder, and he's in again. And just a really nice offload over the top, and then Roberts just with the evasion to get himself free. Once he had the space, he was never going to be caught.
So what they haven't done is given up. They're not far off. They need to execute these plays. What they're allowing Wigan to do is just play the ball at absolutely 100 miles an hour, and they're unable to defend that. So they need to start to slow them down, which means get your chair in front, get your hand on the tag, but don't remove it immediately. If you watch Wigan, that's what they do. Wigan are dictating the speed of the play the ball in attack and defence. Once Warrington can master that, they also need to get the ball again and just be patient and just get through to the end of their sets and get a finish near the Wigan goal line.
Is that Roberts converting his own try? We just see there the offload, that kind of one-handed pass from Heggie. And Roberts just doing enough to get himself over. A real kind of feature of this Wigan performance has been that one-handed offload over the top.
Yep.
It's obviously something that they're working on. Those skill levels can only come from just hours in the chair, can't they?
Yep. Wigan, the Wigan club have embraced wheelchair rugby league as part of their inclusive sport, and the move to Robin Park for the whole
Heggie could be away again here on this right-hand side, just getting out of reach of Gleave, and he's going to go length for the field. And the tries just keep coming pretty much every set in the last 5-10 minutes for Wigan. And Heggie has been the star of the show in this second half as Wigan bring up their century. Just gets himself out of reach from Brad Gleave. And then from that point on, no one was going to get anywhere near him. A big smile on his face as he went over. I think he's enjoying himself out there, Jack Heggie, and rightfully so, because he's had a fantastic game.
I think they've just given him a bit of a breather. I noticed he's playing in an old Spanish chair. It's very robust at the bottom end of it, and he just had some speed on the Warrington chairs there. As I was saying, the Wigan Rugby League Club have embraced inclusive rugby league, so physical disability, learning disability and wheelchair rugby league, and Robin Park is just a hive of activity with huge numbers turning up to play and be part of the great Wigan dynasty. It's offside. Yeah, off Williams, picked up by Roberts in front of him, so Warrington get a penalty.
Their first real spell with the football.
Yeah.
In this second half.
And they'll start it 6 metres out, and a real chance to have a go at the Wigan line.
So it'll be Holt who will play the ball. It's been retrieved. So what can Warrington do here? They had big spells in that first half where they pushed Wigan close and put them under some pressure. It's been all the Warriors really since the restart. The first opportunity of this half then for Warrington to see if they can get some points on the board.
Yeah, they're doing that. They're plugging away at the right hand side. They've got the numbers on the right, on the Wigan right, so Warrington left.
Oh, it could be in. The offload in the end is made to Holt, who stopped. I think we're just going to slow things down here.
Yeah, there's a player.
Stanley Harding out of his chair.
He's in the ruck area, so we need to do that. If he was in back play, we'd have played on.
Hang on.
Warrington eager to get going.
He gets himself.
And we got a 3-on-2 on Warrington's left.
They do come over to the left. Nash Jennings stopped. Holt could be in the corner. He's flicked it back on the inside. Matt Fisher on that far side is judged with his wheel just went over the sideline, so Wigan survived.
Yeah, it was a good chair defence from Mark Williams, who just banged him.
Well, they've gone early with the kick here. The Roberts over the top. The bounce is just going to let him down a little bit because the Wigan chairs were the ones that were getting through, but the ball bounces over the sidelines. But when you're at 102 points in the lap, you can afford to charge your arm and just play those trick plays, can't you?
Yeah, but Warrington get another go. You know, we're 16 metres out with 5 to go. Quick play the balls now, getting quicker.
Yeah, and Jennings to Prince. Prince tagging up, and that is a quicker retag, if you like, than we've seen from Warrington in this game. Now Holt trying to engineer some space over on that left-hand side, comes back on himself, is eventually stopped relatively central. Numbers over to his right, but he goes left to Gleave. Gleave met by Williams, and this is the last.
Bring yourself back a little bit.
So Warrington
You're all right there, right? You carry on.
just stacking their numbers over to the right-hand side. Holt puts a grubber kick through. It takes a bounce, and oh, so close. Paul Prince just for a split second then thought that was going to drop perfectly for him. He couldn't quite bring it in. I think we're coming back for a goal line dropout.
Yeah, I think they said there may have been a Wigan hand there. So again, oh no, it's an 8-metre restart.
So Williams gets us back underway. Roberts bringing it up to the line. Drops it off to Deck Roberts, who's just managed to burst his way through 2 defenders there. The defence does eventually get across, but another Roberts flying up. They just keep coming. And now they go right to Wolof, who looked to flick it back onto the left-hand side. Ball was batted back down, so Wigan will get the restart. And you can hear, I mean, we're right on the sideline here, but we can hear the talk from the Warrington defence. They're still very much invested in this game. They've not put the cue in the rack at all.
No, there's a new coach at Warrington in Isaac.
Which could be through, gets it away to the left-hand side. Brilliant ball from Deck Roberts out to the left. I think it's Nathan Roberts who's gone over in the corner.
Yeah.
And just as we've seen so many times in this game, just as Warrington look like they're starting to get a foothold, Wigan just hit them with the sucker punch.
Wigan have stayed disciplined, although you know, there's no way they're not going to win. That the previous defensive set, they were sliding left and sliding right, and just had Warrington where they wanted them, and Warrington's only option was a kick, which Wigan were able to defend. And you know, they've played smart. They're playing within themselves, but this is the right time of the season, and the top 4 clubs will be, you know, focused on September and what they need to do to get through to that grand final in Manchester, which is the day after the running game final at Old Trafford, at Bellevue, which is part of the Manchester Sports City. And you know, last year's final was unbelievable, with Halifax hanging on to beat Leeds by 2 points, and everybody will want that Super League trophy.
Fantastic venue, Bellevue, of course. We were there a few weeks ago. Last time we brought you Wheelchair Rugby League here on the Sportsman. 2 games still to come throughout the afternoon. Once we're done with Wigan versus Warrington, it's Leeds versus Hull FC. And then at 2:30, London Roosters will take on the Halifax Panthers in a game that is absolutely stacked with stars of this format on both sides of the ball. But it's Wigan who are enjoying themselves here as Williams brings it up to the left-hand side. Luke Winstanley Hardy just shuts down his run. Wigan with possession on the halfway line. Roberts, he brings it over to the left. Oh, intercepted brilliantly from Holt. Could he get away here? Is Roberts chasing him down? Just does enough in the end. But brilliant hands from Holt to bring that ball in, and he's given his side an opportunity now to put some pressure on the Wigan line.
He's done the smart thing, Holt. He's not panicked. He's just letting them get set.
So Prince brings it up to the line, met by Wolof, but can't get the tag away. I think the wheels have become intertwined there, but they've broken up. And now they come over to the right with Holt. Holt just putting his head down a bit, pinning his ears back and seeing if he can get a few more yards over on this right-hand side. And again, just sending his runners back, waiting for them to get settled rather than rushing the play. Winstanley Harding met by Williams over on that right wing. Prince with a long reaching ball over, but not accurate enough. And Roberts has cleaned it up, and he could be away here. Warrington defence doing a really good job swarming back around him, but Wigan will get the ball back on the halfway line. So Williams met by that Warrington defence. He comes off to Roberts. Roberts puts a kick through. Nathan Roberts could be in the corner. I think he's done enough. The match officials are happy with it. And a really inventive little try from Wigan.
Yeah,
perfectly weighted kick.
Yeah, off the training ground. Younger brother called. You know, a bit of eye contact with his elder brother inside. And off they go. Great kick from Roberts, which sat up beautifully. You see a nod there. Thanks our kid, I think he said there.
Well, the Roberts family, big part of the wheelchair rugby league scene over the years.
Yeah. Dad Phil, and you know, there was a big occasion in the World Cup when Dad Phil was playing for Ireland against Declan, who played for England, and you know, young Nathan's coming through. Oh,
Jack Roberts misses the kick.
Is that the first one today?
I believe that's his first miss, which, considering it's 112 points to nil, is I think he can be allowed to be let off for that one. He's been metronomic all morning from the kicking team.
I think he's been hooked. I'm not sure it's for missing the kick, but he's taking a rest. And Lenny Izzard is back on along with Rugby. And just when Warrington thought it was tough, it just gets worse.
He's been outstanding, Jack Roberts, today, isn't he? He's not giving Warrington any chance, really. He's so creative in the middle of the field, both individually and his ability to bring his teammates into the game, and then when you've got a player who's so consistent, so reliable from the kicking team, it makes a massive difference.
Well, the midfield of Roberts, Rugby and Heggie has just been outstanding. And then when you get the support of Wolof, Izzard, young Rugby, you know, it's a formidable team.
So Roberts Jr. bring the ball up, bursting through that defence. Seen his brother do that a few times today, but now it's Rugby. He brings it back inside. Izzard knocked over in the challenge with Winstanley Harding, but he's back up pretty quickly. Wigan roll on. Now they come over to the left. And they're going to bring it back. Two of the Warrington chairs stuck together. So we're going to come back to that play of the ball. Give them a fair chance to get themselves set. So Roberts plays the ball out to the left-hand side. Rugby puts it over the top. It could be in here. Izzard's looking at this, and he gets it down. And again, that fifth tackle, that attacking kick option, so effective for Wigan. So difficult once you're kind of tracking across to get your chair turned and diffuse these kicks, and Wigan utilising it beautifully. Yeah,
great innovation from Rugby. You know, he's driving to the right and he pops it back over his shoulder to the left, and Izzard's waiting for the ball. Again, another one off the training field.
Well, a good opportunity with the scoreline, and as it is, I guess, for Wigan to put some of what they've worked on in training into action.
And the second missed kick from Wigan. So it's.
Well, they'll bring Det Roberts back on now, won't they? I'd imagine after that. So Warrington just taking stock behind their own goal line. It's been a difficult morning for them here at Medway Park. Plenty of reasons to be encouraged. Yep. Ultimately, a heavy scoreline in favour of Wigan. You mentioned, obviously, Warrington, you know, a relatively new outfit, yep, new into this level. They'll only benefit, won't they, from experiences like this and playing against the very best in this country.
They'll remember these days. They'll take some positives out of it in review, and they'll work it out. And there are no shortcuts. It takes a long time to get up to speed in this game. And as I said earlier, Leeds were in exactly the same position, losing every single game, and then it started to turn. And you know, Hull FC are in the competition. Here's a great ball
again.
Izzard.
Cleve does really well to hunt Izzard down, but he's conceded a penalty in the process. Wigan with a full set inside the Warrington half. Roberts straightening up. He brings it over to the left-hand side. Izzard now looking over to the right. Rugby in space. Think again. Think Holt again.
He'd got the ball down, Rugby, on that occasion.
Rugby's done enough to score the try over on that right-hand side. But I suppose the other thing as well that's going to drive the standard up for not only Warrington but across the game is just increased participation numbers. What's that looking like since that World Cup?
Well, last time we counted, we were up 75%, so I've no doubt we'll be double by the end of this year. We have in excess of 80 women registered to play wheelchair rugby league across the length of the UK, who are all doing so. And you know, we've got some incredible success stories, like Sheffield Eagles are just phenomenal and having to put on extra training sessions. Leeds are booming. They have multiple tier training sessions, and you know, down here the clubs in the south, so Argonauts, Medway Dragons, Gravesend Dynamite, Woodlands Warriors have been joined by Brentwood Eels. You know, so out of that there will be good chair athletes, but also people who can play running game rugby league, who can learn chair skills. So you know, the uniqueness of this game is you know, the mix of disabled and non-disabled athletes, and the disabilities are unique as well.
Yeah, you mentioned that thing that does make this version of the sport so special, open to everyone. Just in case there's any of our viewers watching, maybe haven't seen this before or interested in how they can get involved, where can they get the information about their local club and how they can engage in this sport?
So the Rugby Football League website, RFL, has got a club finder there, and you know, just Google is really simple, and we've got great platforms on YouTube now, and we really have got teams all across the UK, from Dundee in the north to here where we are in the southeast of England, teams in South Wales, you know, Hereford in the west of England. It's it's a great growth sport, and over the next 12 months I expect that to continue. We've had brilliant investments as part of the Rugby League World Cup Legacy Fund, and some of these players are playing in chairs that were provided as part of that. So get down to your local club.
Well, that encouraging set, whilst we were talking there for Warrington, couldn't quite make the kick stick, and Wigan will start again.
Started off with another excellent kick-off which stayed in the in-goal area.
Wolof backing himself with a chip over the top.
Pretty smart play from Warrington.
Warrington doing enough to shut that down.
Yeah, they stopped him coming through. Wolof, slight appeal, but going nowhere with it.
Oof, and a heavy collision down on this near sideline. I think it's Brad Gleave who's just been knocked sideways. Paul Prince, sorry, I think it is. I think he's okay, just getting himself back into his chair, back seated and ready to go. So a little bit of a breather for both sides. It's going to be Wigan ball.
Yeah, tough call that. He was helped over the touchline.
So Wigan with an opportunity to add some more points to this already impressive total. Wolof making a big carry down the middle, but he had no tag on that left-hand shoulder.
You can't shout no tag without actually tapping him for it to be a tackle. Tackle 2.
Well, we come back to the Wigan ball and come over to this right-hand side. Izzard throws it back into the left. Rigby fought for a second, then that he was in. Holt doing just enough. Wigan again, just a short craft ball at the line. Holt again in action defensively, and again I think he's made 3 tackles in a row in that set, keeping Wigan out. How much longer will the dam hold? I think this is going to come back. Yeah, it's a new set for Wigan, back to 0. That ball came off a Warrington hand. Now Roberts settles things in the middle of the field. Options left and right, but they come over to the right-hand side to Rigby. Rigby keeps hold of it, ball comes loose, and it's brought in from Holt, but it's going to be a penalty.
Tough call again. Although Holt was in the right place there, I had to give loose carry against Rigby. He won't thank me for that, but I just think that was good defence from Kieran Holt, who's been outstanding the whole game for Warrington.
Has been a real standout player for the Wolves, and Wigan will make the most of that penalty. And Rigby will just coast over on that right-hand side. 4 more points on the board for Wigan. They'll be very pleased with the morning's work, won't they, Mars?
Yeah, they will. The trip back up the M6, or the M1 and the M6 back to Wigan, they'll be able to reflect on a performance. And Warrington have made them work. They've not caved in, despite the high score. And Wigan will get some real positives out of this, and be able to prepare themselves for what's next. So August is a relatively quiet month. We have our cup finals, but we come back with a vengeance for first weekend in September, and that'll see the final positions for Super League, where 1 plays 4 and 2 play 3, with teams 1 and 2 getting the home advantage. So a lot to play for, and a great prize in mid-October at Bellevue.
Yeah, that Betfred Wheelchair Challenge Cup final on the horizon, of course. That's set to be a fantastic day, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, Sheffield's a great venue. It's the same scale as this place. And in Leeds and Catalan Dragons, 2 wonderful teams. Differing styles.
Well, a knock-on from Wolof. So maybe one last chance for Warrington to get themselves over that line, get some points in this game. Again, it's a slowish play, the ball. Now they come out the right to Prince, who's been busy all morning, doing his best to try and force something. In the end, he's shut down there by a combination of Roberts and Rigby. They come out to the left to Holt. Holt met by Roberts.
Pushed him going into the tackle. You've not
I think he'll get a penalty, and they're going to go for the 2. Try and get that 0 off the scoreboard.
For the tackle. So he's come in and pushed him and then taken the tag.
An interesting approach at this stage of the morning, Martin.
I sort of understand not being nilled, you know, and some reward for a huge effort from the Warrington team if he gets it.
And he does just about with the help of the upright. And Kyron Holt has some points to his name, just deserves for his fantastic game that he's had in that Warrington side. That brings the scoreline to 126 points to 2. But a nice moment for Warrington.
And they get the ball back, of course.
And they do get the ball back.
They can have another go, and
that's you know, when we've spoken about the speed and the way that this game's played, and the word momentum has come up a few times, but it is such a huge bonus, isn't it, getting that ball back from the kickoff?
Yep.
That's what's given Wigan at times in this game the ability to get a roll on and just score try after try. Well, the kick-off, the short option was a bit of a messy one.
Not forward from Warrington, so it's near Wigan ball.
And it's going to come back on the Wigan side. Good pressure on the kick from the Wigan chasing pack. Det Roberts, who's re-entered the field of play, just coasts one in, and then Rugby burst of speed in the corner. 4 more points to Wigan. What an effort that is, actually. He didn't have a lot of room to work with there, Rugby.
yeah, interesting. With 4 minutes to go, Wigan have got their starting and strongest 5 on. And just playing against a no doubt exhausted Warrington team. It's a proud club, Warrington. They're going to be working hard at this, and I know that the foundation team are putting effort in, and Isaac, young Isaac, is there behind the post with his team, and they're coming. They are together, and by that I mean communicating well with one another, and a lot of pride in that jersey. And you watch them in 2024.
Well, you know all too well, Martin. Warrington is a rugby league obsessed town. I'm sure once they can get things up and running, there'll be a huge amount of development around this Warrington team.
Yeah, I have to declare self-interest, as I'm born and bred and have irrational regional pride for Warrington, but it's just a matter of time before they come.
Waggy takes the kick-off. Met well by Emma Williams, but now
Tackle 2!
Wigan, as they have done all game, pouring forward. It's that speed of play, isn't it, out of yardage, that's been so impressive at times from Wigan today.
Yeah, it has been. It has been, and you know, it's that control they've got over the speed of the play of the ball.
So the dying stages then of this opening game of the Betfred Wheelchair Super League Magic Round here at Medway Park.
We're just going to bring the ball forward.
Okay, well done, Emma.
Keep coming.
Emma Williams there picking up a ball, and Fort Warrington forcing an error from Rugby, and one last chance.
So Warrington with the football then. One more opportunity perhaps for them to get a try under their belts to take with them. To go with the early kick in the set again. It could pay off. Heggie gets back, and in the end he's going to get himself out from his own goal line. He's done really well, Jack Heggie. He's had a fantastic game. And now Wigan looking to go coast to coast, as they have done a few times this afternoon. Rugby stopped just inside his own half. He'll play the ball to the right-hand side to Roberts. Roberts keeping the ball in his own hands and just going up the middle. And options left and right. Oh, and Rugby's through. He's going to go all the way through and score in the corner. And in the end, Warrington defence just looking a little bit tired there. Wigan in again, and Martin, this gives us an opportunity for me to ask you for your Betfred player of the match.
I want to, you know, recognise the efforts of Kyron Holt, who's been absolutely astonishing in attacking defence and has never done that. And the Wigan middle has been really strong. So Roberts, Rugby have been outstanding in the middle and just controlling the pace of the game and being in the right place at the right time. But the standout player today, and it's just been demonstrated from that kick-off, is Jack Heggie, who's just been outstanding. His timing has been perfect. He's scored some remarkable tries and is a well-deserved winner.
Well, there we go. Jack Heggie is your Betfred player of the match. And that is the full-time whistle. A comprehensive win in the end for Wigan, 136 points to 2. But as we said at half-time, that 2 on the scoreboard for Warrington, probably not a fair reflection of what this game was, but a real signal of intent from Wigan, Martin, as we get towards those all-important points of the season, playoffs and beyond.
And when you get into knockout football, whoever they're playing, be it Leeds, Halifax or London Roosters, they can win. And that's what makes this exciting and takes us right through to October. And good spirit here amongst the teams. You know, mutual respect there. Teams, volunteers, officials, coaches and match officials.
Yeah, fantastic to see the spirit that this game has played in all the way through. Warrington, even when they were well behind on the scoreboard, never put the cue in the rack, never went away, kept Wigan honest, kept them working hard. They sure they had to work for every point that they scored. And we spoke about it throughout, but you know, there are real things to work on, aren't there, for Warrington? There are real signs of encouragement.
Yep, they've got the right structure, they've got the right people, and they're not far off, I promise you. It's just that little bit of attention to detail. And working on that collectively, they'll start to, you know, as a team, they'll come through the other side.
So game 1 in the books here at the Betfred Wheelchair Super League Magic Round here in Medway. Wigan Warriors 138 points to 2 against Warrington. 2 more games on the way, of course. Very shortly we'll have Leeds Rhinos against Hull FC, and then rounding things off this afternoon, the London Roosters will take on the Halifax Panthers. But that's all for now. A resounding win for Wigan here in Medway. Stay with us throughout the afternoon for more Wheelchair Rugby League live.
That's a big one.